Well, I want to welcome to the show, coming to us from D.C., we have our very own Blaze Media investigative journalist, Steve Baker, who, Steve, you're not going to be a January 6th prisoner anymore.
Thank God I only spent 5 hours as an actual prisoner, but I've had the chains and the shackles of the weaponized DOJ around my neck for 4 years now. And today's a good day. We should probably be honest with everyone. We're taping this maybe just a few minutes before the pardons and commutations are announced at the Capital One Arena here in D.C., where I'm at right now. But we have it upon very, very reliable sources that is going to take place today, and that it's going to be much more expansive than either the president or or Pam Bondi or J.D. Vance let on, because originally they said it was going to be, pardons for the nonviolent misdemeanor cases and then a case by case for all the others. But apparently what we're hearing, and I just spoke to the reporter at CNN who got this leak from inside the White House administration, is that they're not only going to pardon all of the existing misdemeanor cases, which would include me, but they're going to announce commutations for everyone. They're going to send everybody home. And Sarah, look, I could not be happier about that, because so many innocent men and women are sitting in prison right now that should not be. Are there some bad guys that are going to get out? Yes. But as we've talked about before, go back to John Adams when he said, in the trial of the British soldiers after the Boston Massacre, he said, I'd rather, 5 guilty go free than 1 innocent suffer. And so this makes me happy.
It makes me incredibly happy. I hear the emotion in your voice, Steve, and you, of course, have reason to be emotional. What was it, March 1st of last year? You were handcuffed and perp walked, all for, of course, your reporting on the events that happened on January 6, 2021. And so you've lived. I understand what you're saying, and I don't disagree with you that there are a lot of people who were tormented a lot more than you, right? They've spent time in prison in terrible conditions. They've had unconstitutional, lack of due process. I mean, they have really dealt with a lot more than you. But you, my friend, have also had this hanging over your head for quite some time now. And I'm really excited for you that you can finally chart a path forward without this, dark shadow hanging over you. And I told you that I want to toast with you. Are you ready?
Should we?
I think we should. I mean, the Sara Gonzales Unfiltered way is that we try to incorporate alcohol as much as possible. So
I have to be as careful as possible uncorking this very fine French champagne because I'm a guest in somebody else's studio here in D.C.
Sure.
So I don't want to spray all of the gear down.
I want you to know, Steve, we got the same kind as you.
Oh.
It's just like we're together.
It is exactly like we're bridging the miles.
Yeah.
All
okay.
Right. All right. So
I don't pop. I'm having my Man of White pop it. I don't pop it.
I usually do this with a towel.
It makes me nervous. Mine popped.
Did you hear?
Yeah, I did. Oh. It's okay.
Oh well.
It's gonna be fine.
It wasn't a disaster.
It's the towel will clean that up, lickety split.
Yeah.
Are they ever gonna let you back, Steve?
Probably not. Of course, I've got it's all down my arm inside my jacket right now.
Okay.
My pants.
So just offer them some and they'll be fine. They'll get free champagne and it'll be fine.
They're very nice here.
Yeah, well, now they'll get some too. You know what? They should understand. This is a big day for you, Steve. This is to you. As he's wiping.
They're taking a photo outside. They're going to have to bring me a towel.
Bring you a towel.
Yeah, I got it all down my jacket sleeve and everywhere else. Oh, excuse us just a moment, Sarah. Thank you.
It's fine. It's just live TV.
They're celebrating with us here at CPI.
I love that. I love that.
In DC.
I love that. Well, they need to cheers with us as well. So
absolutely,
Steve, this has been a long ride that shouldn't have been. It didn't have to be this way, but it was. And this is the turning of a new page, and I am just so happy for you, my friend. Cheers.
Should we? Can you clink it together right there?
Yeah. Let's clink.
There we go.
All right. So, Steve, I do want to ask you while I have you, and you're just sitting there soaking wet, ready to go get dried off. I want to ask you, did you see that already? It was like within the first, 10 or so minutes that Donald Trump was officially, sworn in as president. They had already removed General Mark Milley's photo from the Pentagon. Did you see this?
Yeah, I did not see that. But this is a big deal, because with Biden pardoning, this is one of those preemptive pardons.
Yep.
If that's even legal, if that's even constitutional, I guess that's going to be parsed out in the coming days, because he issued these preemptive pardons for not only Milley and the entire January 6th Select Committee, Pelosi's committee, but also, that means Kinzinger and Cheney and Benny Thompson and all. My towel has arrived. Thank you, dear. Anyway, but with all these pardons, in addition to that, they're pardoning the entire staff members of the January 6th committee, but also the cops from Metropolitan Police and United States Capitol Police who testified. Now, when I first heard that, I had not read the pardons themselves yet. And so I was concerned that, Harry Dunn was going to get off scot-free for his trial perjuries. But after I read the actual statement, it's very specific, and I don't think it can be misinterpreted. But from the way I read his pardon, or the pardon of all the January 6th related people, is it's only for crimes or potential crimes specifically related to the operation and the conduct of the January 6th committee during the engagement of the January 6th committee. Oh. So it's very likely that Harry Dunn, David Lazarus, et cetera, the other cops, of course, Lazarus I don't think testified before the committee, but Gunnell and Fanone and other ones, is that their perjuries could still be, they could still be held to account for those, because taking apart from what they said there in the committee itself, because when Dunn raised his hand in front of that committee, he perjured himself in front of the Congress as well. Yeah. But I don't think it applies to what he said in the courtroom, a block away.
Interesting. Which, a case that, or a trial that may not have much of an impact anymore after today. But still, right. It's like these people should still be held accountable for their actions. And you have, Mark Milley and, as you mentioned, these Capitol Police officers who committed a range of what I would call serious offenses. And I don't know. I would like to see if Donald Trump is still going to do some digging. I would imagine that there's some guy that I know who won't stop the digging, especially now that there's nothing hanging over his head. And his name rhymes with Dave.
No, we're not going to let up on Milley at all. Look, we have only just begun to peel back the layers of his involvement with January 6th, and we think it goes much deeper, and we think that we have enough of the connective tissues together now to start bringing this public. And so that series will continue, whether we're talking about the National Guard, whether we're talking about the interactions that he had with other characters on Capitol Hill that day as well, or whether it has to do with the directed energy weapons that he authorized the use of in protest in D.C. in 2020. Do we know that he authorized the use of those weapons on January 6th? No, we do not. But we know we have photography of one.
Mm-hmm.